Welcome to Film Review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 3 best movies of 2022. Now, obviously this list is just my opinion, so feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what your favorite movie was from 2022. Without further ado, here are my top 3 honorable mentions that I thought were great movies, but didn't make my top 3. Barbarian really caught me by surprise, as it was much better than I thought it was going to be. Modern horror films are really just hit or miss these days, and this one was definitely a hit despite some pacing issues and some woke political undertones. Contra is one of the most unique films I've seen in a long time. It combined ancient folklore with modern humor and brilliant action scenes to make a movie experience that I don't think I'll ever forget. But it did have some issues in the second act. It wasn't as compelling as it should have been, and it should have been at least 30 minutes shorter. But still a good movie. The Batman almost made my top 3 for this list because it gave me the gritty, no-holds-barred Gotham that I've been yearning to see ever since the Arkham video game series. But unfortunately, the story doesn't justify an almost 3-hour runtime, and it leads to a stumbling pacing. With the honorable mentions out of the way, on to number 3 on our list. S.S. Rajamouli's RRR reminds me why I love watching movies. Ever since its debut in March of 2022, it's taken the world by storm for so many reasons. But namely, this is a feel-good movie that uplifts traditional values, is completely unpretentious, and does what any film is supposed to do, entertain the audience. RRR was my introduction to Indian cinema, and I was completely taken aback by how much I loved it. It was some of the most fun I think I've ever had watching a movie, and I wish I could have seen it in theaters. The action is mesmerizing and over the top in all the right ways. The characters are likable, but also nuanced and complicated. RRR really does have it all. There are even song and dance sequences sprinkled throughout that to me were just perfect. I know I always complain about long run times, so you think that this movie being 3 hours and 7 minutes would be an issue for me. But the difference here is that it feels completely justified in order to tell the story in a complete way. Rajamouli makes use of almost every second to maximize the impact of the narrative. RRR was a joy to watch, and I cannot recommend it enough. Now on to number 2. I was looking forward to The Northman ever since I saw the trailer back in late 2021. Robert Eggers is one of my favorite modern directors, and I absolutely loved his previous films, The Witch and The Lighthouse. Eggers has a deep respect and love for history, which shows throughout all his work, and The Northman is no different. Now, it's certainly not your run-of-the-mill Viking movie, as there is very little in the way of modernity here. It's one of the very, and I mean very few films that has ever captured the true essence of Norse pagan life, where the lines between reality and the divine are almost non-existent. The main character, Amleth, although the main character of the story, is not quote-unquote a good guy. By our modern standards, he would probably be considered a dangerous and murderous psychopath, but Eggers is a wise enough writer to not demonize Amleth's actions and the worldview of that time. I believe The Northman is one of the most historically accurate films ever made, not just because of the sets and the costumes, the dialogue, and the research that went into it, but because the film doesn't judge the past by our modern standards. It portrays it in a blunt way that acts as a lens into the more weird and mystic aspects of antiquity that are sorely missing in most historical films from that era. The Northman was definitely one of the highlights of 2022, and I really believe that it will be remembered as one of the great historical films from our time. Now, last but not least, on to number 1. Top Gun Maverick is without a doubt the best movie of 2022. It has been years since I've sat in a theater and been that thoroughly invested and genuinely awestruck by a film. It is to this day one of the best movie theater experiences I have ever had. I saw it in IMAX twice and wish I would have seen it a third time. Top Gun Maverick is everything a blockbuster should be. It has some of the most unbelievable action scenes where the actors are literally inside of real fighter jets while stunts are taking place, and it's mesmerizing. It has a simple but effective story that hits all the right beats at all the right times. It's also, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best movie sequels ever made, because I hate to say it, but it is far better than the original. It's the kind of feel-good, masculine action flick Hollywood used to make in abundance, but have recently traded for nihilistic, boring propaganda films disguised as entertainment. Top Gun Maverick is old school fun, and when it's all over, it makes you want to sign up for the military and become a fighter pilot just like Pete Mitchell. And that's why Top Gun Maverick is the #1 best movie of 2022. Thank you so much for watching. I've actually posted individual reviews of every movie mentioned in this video, so if you want to go check those out, feel free. As always, please like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you later.